Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well, and today, here in front of me, I have a device you all have not seen in a little while on my channel, and that's the Galaxy Z Flip 5. And that's because this device has been turned off and in the box for quite some time now. If you haven't seen my video of why I stopped using it, go back and watch it. The short answer is, the Z Flip 5 is a good phone, it's just not good for me. If you want to know more, go watch that video. Also, here in front of me is my OnePlus 12. That's not the focus of this video, but the focus of today's video is the Razr Plus 2024, which is coming out soon. And I wanted to make a video to kind of get some of my thoughts out there about the Razr Plus and the upcoming Flip 6, which you can actually go ahead and reserve. But I wanted to make this video to take a look at the Razr Plus for 2024 and talk about what Samsung needs to do with the Flip 6 in order to be competitive with the Razr Plus. So if we scroll down through here, the first thing you notice is that awesome outer display on the Razr Plus for 2024, and it was a little bit smaller last year on the 2023, but this year it's even larger. I'm pretty sure this is a 4-inch display. We're going to go over the specs in just a second here. But I think it's worth focusing. The outer display is a large part of what makes the clamshell phones, very attractive to some people, because you can do so much on these outer displays without having to unfold the device. So let's take a look at the specifications here. Now, I'm sure some of you may think that's the Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. It's the same exact phone, it's just globally it's called the Razr 50 Ultra. So the first thing I like to take a look at is the water resistance, and here on the Razr Plus 2024 it's IPX8. So no dust resistance, but you do have the water resistance. This is an area Samsung could potentially have a leg up on Motorola this year round, because the Flip 5 is also IPX8, so hopefully this go around the Flip 6 will have IP68. For the display on the Razr Plus, it's an LTPO AMOLED display, 165 Hz, 3000 nits peak brightness, 6.9 inches, and the resolution is 1080 by 2640. And as for the outer display, it's also an LTPO AMOLED with a refresh rate of 165 Hz as well, and a 2400 nits peak brightness. And there we go, 4 inches for that outer display. The resolution of 1272 by 1080. For the processor, I was a little bit surprised by this because it's the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, which isn't a bad chip by any means, but it's a little bit of a bummer because the Razr Plus starts at $999 and it pretty much has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is what is in last year's Z Flip 5. Now, that's not to say the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 is a bad chip, because it's not. If we take a look at the Z Flip 5 and other devices with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, it's still a very capable device in 2024. It's just a bit of a bummer because it sort of feels like you're getting last year's chip and you're paying a flagship price, but performance is still going to be very well. There's not going to be any kind of hiccups or stutters while using the operating system or playing any games, things like that. So it's still going to be a very good, smooth experience. It's just kind of feels like you're getting last year's chip in the latest device. Now, here on GSM Arena for the storage and RAM options, it shows 256 gigs with 8 gigabytes of RAM, a 256 gig option with 12 gigs of RAM, and a 512 gigabyte option with 12 gigabytes of RAM. That storage is UFS 4.0. Now, I'm not 100% sure because the details are still very new on the Razr Plus 2024, but I believe the options we're going to get here in the US are the 256 gig with 8 gigs of RAM and the 512 gigs with 12 gigabytes of RAM. Now, this year on the Razr Plus, it's a bit strange. They have done away with the ultra-wide camera. You still get a 50 megapixel wide angle at f1.7 and a 50 megapixel telephoto at f2.0, and it's a 2x optical zoom. I just feel like the ultra-wide is a camera people would use more than the telephoto. You guys can let me know, but that's my belief. So it's a bit strange that they did away with the ultra wide. Now, for the selfie camera, it's a 32 megapixel f2.4, so selfies should look pretty decent on the Razr Plus. The fingerprint sensor is built into the sleep wake button on the side of the Razr Plus, and you get a 4,000 milliamp hour battery with 45 watt wired charging and 15-watt wireless charging, along with 5-watt reverse wireless charging. So let's talk about areas where Samsung really needs to do good in 2024 with the Galaxy Z Flip 6. And the first one is with the outer display. I feel like if Samsung does not come out with an outer display that is at least very similar to what it is here on the Razr Plus, that's going to be a bit of a bummer, because for 2 years now, the Razr Plus, in my honest opinion, has had a better looking, higher refresh rate outer display. Well, I guess it's dead. I don't know how, because when I put this in the box for storage, I put it in there with the battery level of 50 to 60%. So let's hook this up and let it charge for a little bit. Because although the outer display is not bad on the Galaxy Z Flip 5, it's definitely nothing like the Razr Plus 2023 or the Razr Plus 2024. Now, in terms of the processor, Samsung will have Motorola beat in that area with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. And if the rumors are true, the Flip 6 will also have 12 gigabytes of RAM. And as far as storage options, I think it will probably be the same as the Flip 5. I think the Flip 6 will have a 256 gigabyte option and a 512 gigabyte option. I will be pretty surprised if Samsung does a 1 terabyte on the Flip 6 this go around. So in terms of storage and amount of RAM, the Razr Plus 2024 and the Flip 6 should be the same. So that's really not an area where one will have an advantage over the other. Now, the next key area I think that will be compared in a lot of videos will be the crease. Now, I don't have any experience with the Razr Plus 2023. I don't think the crease is that bad here on the Z Flip 5. But if you guys go watch some videos of people unboxing the Razr Plus 2024, the crease looks really good on that as well. I know that's a factor some people like to know, is how bad the crease is. And on the topic of displays, you know, here on the Razr Plus 2024, both the inner and outer displays are 165 Hertz. So I feel like Samsung needs to at least make the inner display 120 Hertz. And I'm not entirely sure we need high refresh rate on the outer display, but it's definitely very nice to see that Motorola is taking that step forward and making both displays high refresh rate. You know, it's kind of like, why not? If we can do it, why not? But that could be another area where Samsung slightly falls behind, is the refresh rate of the outer display. In terms of overall brightness of the displays, I think they will go hand in hand. You know, Samsung always has very good displays, very bright, very vivid. Now, the next area is cameras, being that the Razr Plus 2024 has a 32 megapixel selfie, and on the back, the 250 megapixels, the wide angle, and the 2x telephoto. I think Samsung will probably do a 50 megapixel wide and a 50 megapixel ultra wide. But in terms of overall quality of the photos, we'll just have to wait and see which one takes the better pictures. I do hope Samsung is able to put a higher megapixel count selfie camera, because I'm pretty sure here on the Z Flip 5 it's only a 12 megapixel. So I hope this go around with the Flip 6 they do, you know, something higher, preferably match the Razr Plus with a 32 megapixel selfie camera. One of my kind of wish list features that I was hoping Samsung would do with the Flip 6, and I think they will, is a larger battery. Here on the Flip 5, it is a 3700 milliamp hour battery, and I'm hoping Samsung is able to do what Motorola did and put a 4000 milliamp hour battery. Samsung is going to have to match the charging speeds. You know, the Razr Plus has 45 watt wired charging, 15 watt wireless, and 5 watt reverse wireless charging. And I think Samsung is definitely going to have to match that. Because if the rumors are true, if I read them correctly, I believe the Flip 6 is getting a $100, and even the Z Fold series is getting a $100 price increase. Samsung does have overall more experience in the software department with the folding and flip style phones. But Motorola definitely has a very compelling option here in 2024, and I'm excited to see reviews from some of my favorite creators. But let me know what you guys think that Samsung is going to have to do with the Flip 6 to be competitive with the Razr Plus 2024. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video.